Hey everyone, how is it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well because today we're talking about music and today we're looking at just a couple more pickups that I've grabbed recently. I was slowing down on music, but of course, when you go thrifting, who knows what you're going to find, and that kind of leads on to tangents. So I've got just a few small pickups I want to share, but they're really diverse and they've kind of all got a few stories attached a little bit, or in my mind, the beginning of stories attached to them a little bit. So I've got one single tape, I've got a little bit of vinyl, and a handful of CDs to go through as well. So why don't we start with the single cassette? This is an album we've all heard many times before, but I actually haven't listened to it super recently because it's one of those albums you hear it so much when you first kind of discover it. It's one of those classics. We'll get into it. This is Who's Next by The Who. Of course, we're all familiar with that one there. This is the nice blue, pretty. There's a nice ring light. An album I think we all know, but I just listened to it again recently. And this is one of those outstanding albums, like track after track. It's just so great. I mean, it's hard to say there are deep cuts on the album, but just the entire thing flows so well. So happy to get a tape copy of that. And with that, my tape box is now full. I kind of started not really collecting tapes actively, but picking them up here and there. I got one of these kind of not oversized, but a box that was really good fit for tapes, and that box is now full. So I'll probably do a video sometime of, box number one of tapes, what's in there. And then from there, I picked up a little bit of vinyl while thrifting as well. So we'll get into the vinyl portion of the video now. This is a really cool CBS compilation called Rockin' on the Airwaves. I do like the album art there too. Now it's kind of hard to tell because Zoom decides what's pretty and what's not, so it blurs some things out. But it's all CanCon, it's all Canadian artists. So this one you got Loverboy, Rough Trade, Toronto, Powder Blues, Burton Cummings, Harlequin, Triumph, Bruce Coburn, Streetlands, Trooper, Minglewood Band, and Doug and the Slugs. Some of those I had heard of, most of them I'd heard of, some of them I had not. And I heard it and was like, ooh, I need to check this band out more. And the one that did it for me was Harlequin, kind of a hard rock AOR band. I just really enjoyed the song on this comp is Innocence from, does it tell you what album? Got little pictures here of all their different albums. Well, they're the ones that are from Love Creates, Love Crusade, Love Chase. Can't quite tell on an album. But I just really enjoyed that song. So I thought, hey, I'm going to try and find some more. And that goes into kind of a record store dig I did. Um, I was like, let's get some more Harlequin. So it's more of an antique store in here it's called Cook Street Village. It's a nice little kind of neighborhood village vibe kind of thing. There's a really cool antique store that does have some vinyl for very cheap. It is the kind of place where they don't get new vinyl in super often, and it's not organized in any way. It's not a lot of junk, but it's the kind of stuff where it's like they're not curating what they have for vinyl. So if you like what they've got, that's great. And if not, maybe they'll get more and maybe they won't. And this one, I actually have no clue how long it's been there because I go there, I don't know, once a month, once every few months. And yeah, super cheap. They had a 45 of a Harlequin single. This is their single, Survive, from what I can tell from their very first album and their very first single. So the A side is Survive, the B side is another album track, Shame Shame. I think out of the two, I like Shame Shame a bit more. It's a little more hard rock. Survive is probably, there's a dishwasher. This is a long song. Fantastic. The dishes are all dry. You needed to know that. Thank you for being with me. So Harlequin survived their first single with Shame Shame on the B side. I really enjoy it. It's kind of a band I'm going to check out more. But I was like, okay, I got a single. I need a little bit more. So I did go to a local record store, Ditch Records. I know there's some other record stores in the area, but with my day, it worked out better to go to Ditch Records. I even looked for some of the other bands on this compilation that I wanted to check out a little bit more of. They either didn't really have any, or in the case of Harlequin, they did have a pretty reasonably priced greatest hits on CD. But I thought, is the greatest hits the way I want to check out this band? I can probably stream their greatest hits and then kind of pick up their albums. So I did not pick that up. But I've been fortunate enough this year to be a juror for the Polaris Music Prize. As such, I've been listening to a lot of new music, picking albums up when I can, when I want to support, local artists. And one of these is a very local artist. I mean, they're based out of Vancouver now, starting in Victoria. This is alternative metal band Djent, if you're into that as a genre. Spiritbox Tsunami Sea. This is their new album. I really love the packaging on this. You get like a nice hardy booklet with the CD case. It's cool. There's your track listing there. Um, yeah, it's the kind of alternative metal that I think if you're someone that uh, your formative years were, the late 90s, early 2000s, you're probably more sympathetic to this style of hard metal than many others. But I really like it. I think the vocal work is great. Actually, it's the production on this album. There's so much going on. It's very, very noisy, but it feels very, very purposeful, and it feels like everything is given space. And that's very cool. But yeah, check that out. Local, not so local, but we're local. Spiritbox, check it out. Another one, I saw them for the first time. They were one of the supporting acts on Sum 41 tour when they were doing their farewell tour. And this is Pop from Toronto. This is their brand new album. Like, came out this week, I think. Who Will Look After the Dogs? So there you go. It's on Rise Records. It is, post-hardcore pop punk. It's probably the best way I could put it. It's post-hardcore, but it's very, very catchy, very, very melodic at the same time. I mean, they've got a track on here with Jeff Rosenstock. So if you're familiar with his work, that kind of is carried over here. It makes sense why they're doing that. I do like the artwork on the inside too. Kind of makes me think getting this on vinyl would be worthwhile. Really cool artwork as well. CD Coastline. I love it. Fantastic. And then finally, to finish off there, I'll get that after. Finally, to finish off are a few more CDs I found while thrifting. They're all $1. And I was like, yeah, gotta grab these. This is Charles Mingus. Not entirely superly a jazz guy, but it's one of those genres I'm trying to explore. And the best way to explore jazz, I think, is a genre as opposed to just diving in, picking up, whatever new releases are. I kind of look for those foundational artists and picking away at it. So this is from, I think, 59 originally. And I really like this series. I forget what it's the Columbia Legacy series, I believe is what it's called, or that's the label that it's on. Does it say what kind? No. But quite often they will have bonus tracks on here or kind of prior recordings, as well as really beefy essays in the liner notes, which is another really cool way to get a little more familiar with the artists, their historical context, where they're coming from, stuff like that. So I've given this a couple listens already, and it's great. It's so vibrant and energetic. I love it a lot. So I'm really happy to have this into the jazz collection. And then the final CD, also $1, was AFI Sing This Sorrow, 2003, I think, 2004. 2003. Perfect. Again, a band. I mean, I should have listened to them back in the day. That this is my kind of tunes, my kind of jam, my kind of music from then. But I never caught on. I think maybe image-wise, they were a little too gothic, whereas I was going for more punk, more pop punk. But this is a fun album. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you grew up listening to that kind of music, you're going to enjoy it a lot more. Listening to it now, it is quite saccharine and overdone and overblown and overdramatic. But that's kind of fun sometimes, right? I think similar to the way you might enjoy bands like Queen with those kind of like over. I mean, the sound's nothing like Queen, but it has that same sort of theatricality to it. And I'm kind of plugging away at getting again some of those kinds of albums. Those are all my pickups. So not a big collection, but these are all kind of meaningful in a way. Like I have a purpose to having all of these and kind of exploring them more, and especially Harlequin. I'm excited to get more into Harlequin. Same with Toronto. The track on here really blew me away. Doug and the Slugs, I really enjoyed that track as well. But these are all the pickups, super diverse in genres. Really happy to dive in, dig deep into these. And yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me about some of your recent pickups as well. And I will catch you next time. Bye.